Opening scene, gentle background music, visuals of a cozy home, framed family photos, a senior sitting by a window. Have you ever stopped to wonder, what would happen if, one day, you couldn't fully care for yourself anymore? It's a thought that quietly crosses the minds of millions of older adults, and their families too. The fear isn't just about physical limitations. It's about what comes next. For many, that fear paints a picture of moving into a nursing home, leaving behind the comfort of familiar walls, the memories tucked into every corner, the freedom of choosing your own routine, and the dignity of living life your way. And if you've ever had that thought, you know it comes with a heavy heart. The idea of being uprooted, placed into a facility, and suddenly feeling like a guest in your own life. It's one of the greatest worries of aging. But here's the truth, and it's a hopeful one. Losing the ability to manage every task on your own doesn't mean losing your independence, your home, or your identity. Because today, there are real-world, practical, and proven methods that allow seniors to stay exactly where they feel safest and happiest, at home, while still receiving the support they need. And that's what this video is all about. We're going to share with you 6 powerful alternatives to nursing homes, each one designed to give older adults a genuine choice. The choice to age. These methods range from small but life-changing adjustments, like adding simple technology or home modifications, to community programs that keep you engaged and connected, and even innovative housing models that completely reimagine what senior living can look like with dignity, comfort, and peace of mind, without being forced into an institution. And let me promise you this, the 6th method we'll share is one that most people overlook, yet it may very well be the single most important key to preserving independence for as long as possible. So, if you or someone you love has ever felt that fear, that creeping thought of, what will happen to me if I can't care for myself? I encourage you to stay with me until the very end of this video, because by the time we finish, you'll see that there are more options, more hope, and more freedom available than you might have ever imagined. Now, let's begin with the very first method. Method 1. Home-based care and caregiver support, very long. When daily life starts to feel overwhelming, the first thought many people have is, maybe it's time for a nursing home. But what if I told you that one of the most effective alternatives doesn't involve moving anywhere at all? It begins with a simple idea, bringing the help you need directly to your home. This approach is called home-based care or caregiver support, and it's one of the most powerful ways to continue living where you feel safest and happiest, without giving up your independence. So what does home-based care actually look like? It can take many forms, depending on your needs. A caregiver who comes in just a few hours a week to prepare meals, tidy up the house, and make sure medications are taken on time. A professional aide who helps with more personal needs like bathing, dressing, or mobility support. Or even a family member, a close friend, or a trusted neighbor who checks in regularly to lend a helping hand and a kind smile. The beauty of this method is flexibility. You can receive just the right amount of assistance, whether it's occasional help or daily support, while continuing to live in the environment you know and love. Why does this matter so much? Because staying at home preserves something that is priceless: your routine, your memories, and your dignity. Think about it. Every corner of your home tells a story. Family photos on the wall, your favorite chair by the window, the kitchen table where countless meals have been shared. When you remain in that environment, surrounded by familiarity, you're not just getting by. You're living in a space that reflects your life, your identity, and your choices. Medical experts, including the National Institute on Aging, emphasize that aging in place with support not only reduces stress, but also helps maintain emotional well-being. Moving into a facility often brings confusion, anxiety, or even depression, especially when routines are disrupted. But when you invite a caregiver into your home, the adjustment feels natural. Instead of losing independence, you gain the freedom to live life on your own terms, with just enough help to make it safe and manageable. And let's not forget one of the most overlooked benefits: companionship. Caregivers don't just handle chores, they bring human connection. For many seniors, that's as important as physical assistance. Sharing a meal with someone, enjoying a cup of tea together, or simply having a person to talk with can transform daily life from lonely to fulfilling. Studies show that emotional connection has a direct impact on health, lowering stress levels, boosting immune function, and even increasing longevity. Let me share a real-life example. Samuel, a 77-year-old retiree, struggled after a fall. Cooking became difficult, and keeping his home clean felt nearly impossible. His family worried that he might need to move into assisted living. But instead of making that big transition, they tried something different. They arranged for a caregiver to visit every morning. This caregiver didn't just prepare Samuel's breakfast and make sure his medications were taken on time. She also sat down with him for a cup of coffee, listening to his stories and sharing a laugh. Within weeks, Samuel said he felt like his life had turned around. He was cared for, but not controlled. He was safe, but still free. He told his daughter, "I feel like myself again at home." This is the power of home-based care. It bridges the gap between total independence and full-time nursing care. It's not about replacing your abilities. It's about supporting them. It's not about giving up control. It's about keeping it. So, if you've ever worried that losing the ability to handle everything on your own means you'll have to leave your home, remember this. Sometimes, all it takes is welcoming an extra set of hands into your life. And those hands can make all the difference between loneliness and connection, between fear and comfort, between leaving home and staying right where you belong. Home-based care is more than a service. It's a lifeline to independence, dignity, and the comfort of living life on your own terms. Movie camera method 2, smart home tech and safety modifications, very long. When we think about staying independent at home as we age, most of us picture the big things: health, mobility, support from others. But here's something many people don't realize. Sometimes it's the small details in your home that make the biggest difference. Think about the daily risks most of us take for granted. Walking across a dark hallway at night, climbing the stairs when you're tired, remembering if you've taken your medicine, or even reaching for the phone after a fall. For an older adult, each of these moments can turn into a serious challenge. And sadly, many seniors lose their independence not because of a major illness, but because of small accidents that could have been prevented. That's where smart home technology and safety modifications come in. This method is all about transforming your living space into a place that quietly protects you. An invisible safety net that's always there when you need it, but never in the way. So what does this look like in real life? Let's break it down. Fall detection systems. These devices can automatically alert family or emergency services if you fall, even if you can't reach the phone. Considering that falls are one of the leading causes of injury for seniors, this single device can mean the difference between quick help and hours of waiting alone. Voice-controlled assistants. Smart speakers like Alexa or Google Home may seem like simple gadgets, but for older adults, they're powerful tools. Imagine turning on the lights, adjusting the thermostat, or even calling for help, just by using your voice. No fumbling with switches, no worrying about getting up in the dark. Automated medication reminders. Missed or double doses are one of the biggest health risks for seniors. Smart pill dispensers can beep, flash, or even send a phone notification, ensuring medications are taken on time and in the right amount. This reduces anxiety for both seniors and their families. Simple home modifications. Not all improvements need to be high-tech. Installing grab bars in the bathroom, adding better lighting in hallways, or replacing slippery rugs with non-slip flooring are small changes that drastically reduce risks. These modifications may feel minor, but together, they create a safer, more senior-friendly home. Why does this matter so much? Because when your home becomes safer and smarter, it doesn't just protect your body, it protects your confidence. And confidence is essential for independence. Let me give you an example. Linda, a 72-year-old widow, often worried about whether she had taken her blood pressure medication. Sometimes she skipped a dose, other times she accidentally doubled it. The stress left her anxious, and her children called every day to remind her. Finally, her daughter installed a smart pill dispenser with alarms. It beeped at the right time, dispensed the exact dose, and even notified her daughter if a dose was missed. The result? Linda said she felt like she had taken back control of her health. Her children felt reassured, and she felt less dependent on others. Something as small as a smart dispenser gave her the gift of confidence. Here's another story. Robert, 80, lived alone after his wife passed. He fell one night while walking to the bathroom, but thanks to a fall detection device he wore on his wrist, his son was alerted immediately and rushed over. Robert often says, "That device didn't just save me from lying on the floor. It saved me from being forced into a nursing home. Because after that incident, his children knew he could still be safe at home with the right technology. That's the true power of smart home tech and safety modifications. They don't take away independence, they protect it. They don't replace family or caregivers, they support them. And most importantly, they give seniors the peace of mind to live their daily lives without fear of the what if. The National Institute on Aging highlights that many older adults can safely age in place if their homes are properly modified and equipped with simple safety tools. And researchers stress that confidence and safety go hand in hand. When you feel secure, you move more freely, live more actively, and enjoy life more fully. So, if you or a loved one worries about the risks of living alone, remember this: staying safe doesn't always require a big change. Sometimes, it's just a few small upgrades, a smart device, or a little extra light that makes all the difference. Transforming your home into a safer, smarter space means transforming your future into one with more independence, less worry, and far greater peace of mind. Method 3. Strengthen social support. Family, friends, and your local network. Very long. When people talk about growing older, the conversation often focuses on physical health, mobility, medication, or safety. But there's something just as important, and sometimes even more powerful, that often gets overlooked: the strength of your social connections. Because here's the truth: aging is not just about your body. It's also about your spirit, your mind, and your heart. And nothing supports those better than the people you love and trust. Think for a moment about the role of family, friends, and neighbors in your life. They're not just people you know. They're the ones who can turn an ordinary day into something meaningful. A knock on the door with a warm meal. A phone call that makes you laugh. A ride to the doctor when you don't feel like navigating it alone. These are small gestures, but together, they form a safety net far stronger than most people realize. The National Institute on Aging emphasizes this often. Seniors with strong social ties are not only happier, they're also healthier. Research shows that emotional connection reduces the risk of depression, boosts memory, lowers stress, and even strengthens the immune system. In fact, seniors who feel connected recover faster from illness and live longer than those who feel isolated. So why is social support so powerful? Because it touches every part of your well-being. Practical help. Friends or neighbors can help with groceries, rides, or chores. Emotional comfort. Just having someone to talk to when you're feeling down can ease loneliness. Sense of belonging. Being part of a circle reminds you that you're valued and not forgotten. Confidence. Knowing someone is nearby in case of emergency helps you feel secure at home. Let's look at an example. Richard, an 80-year-old widower, found himself feeling invisible after his wife passed away. He had children, but they lived far away, and the quiet of his home felt heavy. He began to lose interest in even small daily tasks, and loneliness started to take a toll on his health. His daughter noticed and decided to reach out to his community. She organized a simple support system. A neighbor would drop by with groceries twice a week, another would stop in for coffee on Fridays, and a family friend offered to drive Richard to his doctor's appointments. Within a few weeks, Richard's life transformed. He no longer felt like a burden. He felt like part of a team. He said, "It's not just the help, it's the fact that I know someone cares, and that makes me want to keep going." His mood improved, his health stabilized, and most importantly, he felt safe staying at home. Stories like Richard's are powerful reminders that social support is not just nice to have. It's essential, and it doesn't always have to come from family. Friends, neighbors, and even local community groups can all become part of your circle. Sometimes it's about asking for help. Other times, it's about simply allowing others the opportunity to give. Even a single dependable friend or neighbor can make a world of difference. Imagine having someone you trust check in on you regularly, knowing they'd notice if something was wrong. That reassurance alone reduces stress, and stress reduction has enormous health benefits. Let's not forget the emotional side. Loneliness isn't just a feeling, it's a risk factor. Experts often compare the health risks of loneliness to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's how damaging isolation can be. But the opposite is also true. Connection heals. A phone call, a shared meal, or even just a neighborly hello can boost your mood, your energy, and your outlook on life. Building and maintaining a support network doesn't require a large circle. What matters most is reliability. A handful of people who check in regularly is far more valuable than dozens of distant acquaintances. So, what can you do to strengthen your circle? Reach out to family and set up a routine, maybe a weekly video call or regular visits. Get to know your neighbors. Offer kindness, and you'll often find kindness returned. Join a local group, club, or community activity to expand your network. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Most people are more willing to give than you think. Remember, independence doesn't mean doing everything alone. True independence means creating a balance, living life your way, while knowing there's a net of support when you need it. Your social connections are not just companions on the journey of aging. They are lifelines that keep you healthier, happier, and stronger. So if you want to avoid a nursing home and stay in the comfort of your own home, strengthening your support circle is not optional. It's essential. Because in the end, it's not just about living longer. It's about living connected, living valued, and living with dignity. Method 4. Community-based services and programs. Very long. When people think about independence in old age, they often imagine it as a solitary journey, managing everything on your own, behind closed doors. But the truth is, independence doesn't mean isolation. In fact, one of the most effective ways to remain independent at home is by leaning on the support that already exists in your local community. Across towns and cities, there are countless community-based programs and services designed specifically to help older adults live safely, stay nourished, and remain socially connected. Sadly, many seniors don't even know these resources are available, or they hesitate to use them because they don't want to feel like a burden. But here's the secret. These services exist because you deserve them. They're built for you. And using them isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength and wisdom. Method 3. Strengthen social support. Family, friends, and your local network. Very long. When people talk about growing older, the conversation often focuses on physical health, mobility, medication, or safety. But there's something just as important, and sometimes even more powerful, that often gets overlooked: the strength of your social connections. Because here's the truth. Aging is not just about your body. It's also about your spirit, your mind, and your heart. And nothing supports those better than the people you love and trust. Think for a moment about the role of family, friends, and neighbors in your life. They're not just people you know. They're the ones who can turn an ordinary day into something meaningful. A knock on the door with a warm meal. A phone call that makes you laugh. A ride to the doctor when you don't feel like navigating it alone. These are small gestures, but together, they form a safety net far stronger than most people realize. The National Institute on Aging emphasizes this often. Seniors with strong social ties are not only happier, they're also healthier. Research shows that emotional connection reduces the risk of depression, boosts memory, lowers stress, and even strengthens the immune system. In fact, seniors who feel connected recover faster from illness and live longer than those who feel isolated. So why is social support so powerful? Because it touches every part of your well-being. Practical help. Friends or neighbors can help with groceries, rides, or chores. Emotional comfort. Just having someone to talk to when you're feeling down can ease loneliness. Sense of belonging. Being part of a circle reminds you that you're valued and not forgotten. Confidence. Knowing someone is nearby in case of emergency helps you feel secure at home. Let's look at an example. Richard, an 80-year-old widower, found himself feeling invisible after his wife passed away. Let me share a story. Margaret, a 75-year-old widow, found herself struggling with both mobility and loneliness. Cooking felt exhausting, and she missed having company around the house. At first, she thought her only option was assisted living. But then, with a little encouragement, she joined her local senior center. Twice a week, she attended gentle exercise classes and even took up watercolor painting. At the same time, she signed up for a meal delivery service that brought her healthy lunches. The difference was life-changing. Suddenly, her days had purpose again. She wasn't skipping meals. She had friends to laugh with, activities to look forward to, and a renewed sense of energy. She later told a friend, "It's like I found my spark again." And Margaret isn't alone. Thousands of seniors across the country are rediscovering joy, purpose, and independence, not by withdrawing, but by connecting with the community around them. Here's the key. Independence doesn't mean doing everything by yourself. True independence means knowing when to accept support so you can keep living the life you want. If you're worried about losing control, think of it this way. These programs don't take away your freedom. They protect it. They allow you to keep your home, your routines, and your choices, while giving you the backup you need to stay safe, nourished, and engaged. So, the next time you wonder if you can manage on your own, remember this: you don't have to. Your community is full of resources ready to stand by your side. All you have to do is reach out. Community-based services are not charity. They are your bridge to independence, dignity, and a life filled with connection. Method 5. Innovative housing models and shared living. Very long. When we think of aging at home, most of us picture living alone in the same house we've always known. But sometimes, living completely alone isn't realistic, or even what we truly want. What if there was a way to keep your independence and gain daily support, friendship, and safety without having to move into a traditional nursing home? That's where innovative housing models come in. These new approaches to living arrangements are reshaping what it means to grow older, proving that independence doesn't have to mean isolation. Let's explore a few of the most powerful and inspiring models. Glowing Star Senior Co-Housing. Imagine a community where every person has their own private home, their own kitchen, bedroom, and living space. But these homes are clustered around shared communal areas like gardens, activity rooms, and dining spaces. That's senior co-housing. In these communities, neighbors are more than neighbors. They're a support network. Residents look out for each other, share meals, organize activities, and sometimes even trade skills and services. It's independence wrapped in community. The best part? You choose your level of engagement. Want privacy? You've got it. Want company? Just step outside and join in. A study highlighted in The Guardian showed that seniors in co-housing report higher satisfaction, stronger mental health, and lower feelings of loneliness compared to those who live alone. They still have control over their lives, but they also have the priceless comfort of daily companionship. Glowing Star Greenhouse-style homes. Now let's talk about something even more transformative: greenhouse homes. Unlike traditional nursing facilities, large, clinical, and impersonal, greenhouse homes are small, warm, and truly home-like. Each house usually accommodates just 10 to 12 residents. The design is simple but powerful: private bedrooms and bathrooms for personal space, with shared kitchens and living rooms for connection. Caregivers, often called shabazam, act less like staff and more like family, helping residents cook, chat, and participate in daily life. Studies cited on Wikipedia show that residents in greenhouse homes experience better quality of life, stronger emotional well-being, and even fewer hospitalizations than those in traditional institutions. It's proof that smaller, more personal settings create dignity, joy, and comfort, exactly what seniors deserve. Imagine waking up in a cozy, sunlit room, smelling breakfast being cooked just down the hall, and walking into a kitchen where your family is already gathered around the table. That's the greenhouse difference. Glowing Star home share arrangements. But maybe you're not ready to move into a community. Maybe you'd rather stay right where you are. In that case, consider a home share arrangement. Here's how it works. You open your home to a trusted person, often a younger adult, student, or professional, who lives with you in exchange for helping out with chores, errands, meals, or simply being there for companionship. This arrangement is mutually beneficial. You gain assistance and friendship, while they receive affordable housing. For many, it's also deeply cost-effective compared to full-time care. One woman named Helen, 82, shared her home with a graduate student named Sarah. In return for lower rent, Sarah helped with groceries, did light cleaning, and drove Helen to her weekly choir practice. What started as a practical solution quickly turned into a friendship. Helen said, "I didn't just gain a helper, I gained a granddaughter." It's simple, affordable, and beautiful. Two people supporting each other while maintaining independence. Lightbulb why this matters. These housing models break the outdated idea that seniors must choose between total independence or total institutional care. Instead, they offer something in between: flexibility, dignity, and human connection. According to experts, seniors thrive when three needs are met: privacy, purpose, and people. Privacy ensures autonomy. Purpose keeps the spirit alive. People provide connection and safety. Senior co-housing, greenhouse homes, and home sharing all strike this balance beautifully. Red Heart, a vision of the future. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine. You wake up in a space that feels like yours, not a sterile room with white walls, but a home filled with your photos, your books, your memories. You hear the sound of laughter coming from the common room, or the footsteps of your housemate making tea. You know that if you need help, it's just steps away. And if you want solitude, you have the freedom to retreat. That's not a fantasy. It's happening right now, in communities around the world. And it's only growing stronger. Bottom line, innovative housing models are redefining aging, not as a slow decline into dependency, but as a new chapter of connection, dignity, and meaningful living. They prove that independence is not about being alone. It's about having the right support in the right environment. Method 6. Formal integrated care through PACE or similar programs. Very long. When we think about staying independent as we age, one of the biggest challenges isn't just cooking or cleaning. It's navigating healthcare. Doctor's appointments, medications, therapy, transportation, nutrition. It can all become overwhelming. This is where programs like PACE, the program of all-inclusive care for the elderly, step in. Glowing Star, what is PACE? PACE is a comprehensive, community-based care model designed for older adults who want to keep living at home but need consistent, skilled support. Instead of piecing together dozens of services on your own, PACE brings everything under one roof. Medical care with doctors, nurses, and specialists. Rehabilitation services like physical and occupational therapy. Social support through activities, counseling, and companionship. Meals and nutrition programs tailored to your health needs. Transportation to and from appointments or community centers. Home care when needed, so you're safe and comfortable where you live. Think of it like a one-stop shop for aging gracefully at home. Instead of juggling 5 different providers, PACE integrates everything into one coordinated program. Glowing Star, why it matters. The power of PACE isn't just in the services, it's in the philosophy. The goal is simple but revolutionary. Keep seniors living in their homes and communities as long as safely possible. Traditional nursing homes often separate seniors from their familiar environment, routines, and even pets. But research shows that remaining at home boosts mental health, lowers stress, and improves recovery from illness. PACE makes this possible by surrounding older adults with medical, social, and emotional support, without stripping away independence. A National Institute on Aging review found that seniors enrolled in PACE have fewer hospitalizations, better health outcomes, and higher satisfaction with their lives compared to those in standard institutional. Glowing Star, a real-life picture. Imagine this. Margaret is 79. She has diabetes, arthritis, and trouble getting around. In the past, she would have been moved into a nursing home. But through PACE, Margaret remains in her own apartment, surrounded by her plants, her photo albums, and her neighborhood. Every morning, a PACE van picks her up for therapy sessions and a healthy lunch at the local PACE center. Her doctor, physical therapist, and social worker are all part of the same team, so they know her by name and coordinate her care seamlessly. In the afternoon, she plays cards with friends, attends a music session, or simply chats with her care team before being dropped back home. Later, a home aide visits to check her medications and help prepare dinner. Margaret is not isolated, not forgotten, not institutionalized. She is living at home with dignity, thanks to integrated care. Glowing Star, beyond PACE, similar programs. While PACE is one of the most well-known models, other countries and communities have launched similar approaches. Integrated community care programs in Europe bring health and social services into neighborhoods. Community health worker initiatives connect seniors with resources while monitoring health right at home. Day health centers combine meals, medical oversight, and social activities, reducing loneliness and hospital visits. All of these share the same mission: to wrap care around the individual instead of forcing the individual into an institution. Glowing Star, the hidden benefits. What makes programs like PACE so powerful is not just the care, but the peace of mind. Seniors know they won't be left alone in emergencies. Families know they aren't carrying the burden by themselves. Communities benefit because elders remain active, engaged, and connected. And here's something crucial. PACE often ends up being more cost-effective than institutional care. By preventing hospital stays and nursing home admissions, it reduces overall expenses while delivering Evaring better quality of life. Red Heart why this could be the key to the future. As more of us live longer, the question becomes, how do we want to live those years? Programs like PACE show us a path forward where aging doesn't mean being sidelined. It means being supported holistically. You're not just a patient. You're a person. You're not just receiving services. You're receiving community. And you're not just surviving. You're living with dignity, care, and independence. Backhand index pointing right bottom line. Integrated care programs like PACE are game changers. They are proof that you can have the best of both worlds. Expert medical attention and community support without giving up the home you love. They might just be the most overlooked, but most transformative alternative to nursing homes today.